So after we finished with our business in Boston, we hightailed it through New Hampshire, up into Vermont until we got almost as north as possible and arrived in South Burlington at a little place called Magic Hat. Now, I didn't admit it at the time, but I was extremely excited for Magic Hat. They were my first unheard of beer when I started drinking. I can even remember when my relatives in Delaware brought down number 9 for us to try, and we couldn't even find it anywhere around us at home. They have a cool tasting/retail space that they fondly refer to as the Artifactory, a place where rust seems to be encouraged as strange art and crazy lighting illuminates the area. We wandered around for a bit until Danny Gleason walked in through the doors, fresh back from being out of town, and took us on a tour. Magic Hat is doing something that I have mixed feelings about, which is starting to introduce a fully automated tour. Why do I have mixed feelings? Because you no longer get to go on the brewery floor. But the good seems to outweigh the bad. One, if you walk in on an off time, you can still do a walkthrough and see what's up, and thanks to the little overlook area, you still get to see the brewery. Two, it keeps sanitation out of the equation, so now we don't have to worry about contamination issues with people just walking around. And three, greatly reducing safety concerns. Now, I will say they're making something that seems like a meh idea into something pretty cool. Like I said, observation deck, a movie theater with keg sconces, and even a virtual walkthrough area. They were trying to give the most interactive experience possible. Luckily, Danny let us walk the floor with her and took us all over the place. It was fun and all, but I had to wear a beard net. We saw all aspects of the operation from the kettles to the lab. Personally, I was a big fan of the open-top fermentation room. It's always fun to watch beer becoming beer. After we had our fill of the tour and tasted a few samples, we grabbed Christopher Rockwood. He is...
So my name is Christopher Rockwood. I'm the lead cellarman here at Magic Hat Brewing Company. So I'm responsible for overseeing and supervising the whole finishing side of the beer making process. So Magic Hat was founded back in 1994 by two gentlemen, Alan Newman and Bob Johnson. Bob was an avid home brewer who started brewing back at Goddard College. Alan was an avid and savvy businessman, and they kind of had a chance meeting and said, let's start a brewery. In our almost 19 years of production, grew from making beer essentially in a bathtub on a small system to brewing 180,000 barrels of beer a year. One that stands out, I think may have been the time I actually met Alan Newman. Was when I was first hired. I was working in a sales position at the time, and we went out to lunch with he and the president at the time. And I had no idea kind of who he was, but we sat down, and there's this older gentleman with a great big beard and these yellow circle glasses kind of sitting at the head of the table. And he starts telling the story about the brewery and how they've been doing, and they needed to make some changes because somebody was making some questionable decisions. And he's like, all that was me. I'm Alan Newman. I founded this place. And it was kind of interesting to see kind of the history from the guy who started, one of the guys who started it, and where it's been since then. So Magic Hat is kind of is a quirky name, and from what I understand, when Alan and Bob started, their whole thought process was, we need to do something different. So they toured 30 breweries in 11 days on the West Coast to kind of see what everybody was doing, what was happening, and their whole idea was to go the complete opposite direction. So the story I heard about Magic Hat was that they kind of needed, in order to start a brewery in Vermont, they're going to need to pull some magic out of a hat, and that was kind of how it got coined. The future, the future is an interesting question. I don't foresee us going anywhere anytime soon. We're still growing. We've been fortunate to experience decent growth and continuous growth over the last 15 years. We continue to grow steadily and slowly moving into some new markets and becoming a national brand. Currently, we're in 40 states, and so we're looking to kind of fill out the entire U.S. Slowly and methodically, so we get
So when we wrapped everything up, they allowed us to taste some of their brews, gave us a growler for the road, and sent us off on the long trek of our journey. Magic Hat was awesome, and that open-top fermentation room was one of the coolest things I've ever been in. They have awesome beers, great style, and the drive to make a good product, something that should keep this brewery together for millennia to come. I once saw a bumper sticker that said, "What happens in Vermont stays in Vermont," except nothing happens. Take a trip and see if it's true. This is Tom Connor for Baltimore Post-Examiner, signing off.